Okay, let's get into this. Have you ever seen one of those dolls that looks so real, it makes you look twice, maybe feels a little uncanny?
Oh, yeah. We're
Oh.
talking about reborn dolls today.
Exactly. These incredibly lifelike baby dolls, they really do blur that line between, well, art and reality, don't they?
They absolutely do. They're basically handcrafted art pieces. Artists take a kit or sometimes a manufactured doll and transform it to get this um, astonishing realism.
And the reactions they get are just all over the place.
Totally. You've got people who feel this deep connection, use them for therapy, find real comfort, and then others feel, well, unease. Even controversy surrounds them sometimes.
Right. So that's our deep dive today. Just for you, we want to explore, the cultural history, how they're actually made, why people connect with them, and really importantly, how you can navigate the market and spot those scams.
It's a fascinating niche.
Yeah.
It really kicked off in the US, maybe the early 90s. It sort of grew out of people modifying existing dolls.
Hmm.
Artists like Joyce Moreno, they were pioneers just trying to push realism way beyond what you'd get off a factory line.
Just wanting something more lifelike. And then the internet must have just blown it up, right? Like eBay around 2002.
Oh, definitely. That was huge. Suddenly, artists could find buyers, collectors could find artists all over the world. The community, the market, it just exploded online.
So how do they make them look so real? What's the process?
It's intense. It usually starts with a blank vinyl kit, arms, legs, head, then the painting begins. And it's not just one coat.
No.
No way. We're talking layers. Dozens of super thin, translucent layers of special paints like Genesis heat set paints or air dry ones.
That builds up a skin tone.
Exactly. It mimics everything. The modeling, the tiny veins you see under the skin, the blushing on cheeks or knees. It's incredibly detailed work.
And the hair looks so real in the good ones.
Right, because it's not a wig. It's hand-rooted. Artists use these really fine needles to insert strands of mohair, maybe alpaca hair, one by one. Yeah, sources say that can take like over 30 hours. Just for the head.
That's dedication.
Then they add weight. They use fine glass beads, sometimes poly pellets, inside cloth body and head.
Ah, so that's why they feel heavy, like a real baby.
Precisely. You actually have to support the head when you pick one up. It adds so much to the realism. Plus, other little things, opening the nose, adding moisture effects near the eyes or mouth, painting tiny nails.
It's all about hitting that lifelike look where you almost expect it to move.
Totally. And materials make a difference too. Vinyl is standard, but then you have silicone.
Silicone's the really high-end stuff.
Yeah, full-body silicone dolls are incredibly soft, flexible, very skin-like, but they're way harder to make, and well, the price reflects that. You could be looking at $5, $10, even $20,000 or more.
Whoa. Okay, so beyond the art, there's a whole community around this?
Huge. It's global. Online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit, but also offline, things like doll shows, meetups, expos.
And why do people connect so strongly? You mentioned therapy.
Yes, that's a big part for some. It can be really helpful for grief, like after losing an infant or a miscarriage. Holding the doll provides a kind of tangible comfort. Some artists even create portrait dolls to look like a child who was lost.
That's powerful.
It really is. And it's used in dementia care, too. Studies show it can reduce anxiety, agitation, give residents a sense of purpose, something to nurture. It can ease loneliness, anxiety generally, fulfill that nurturing instinct.
Okay, but let's address the elephant in the room. Some people just find them creaky. Why is that?
Yeah, that's the Uncanny Valley phenomenon. Our brains are wired to recognize human faces and forms. When something looks almost perfectly human, but there's just something off,
Yeah.
maybe the stillness, it can trigger revulsion or unease.
Because they're so close, but not quite alive?
Exactly. And sometimes public perception gets skewed. Viral videos, sometimes staged things, especially out of places like Brazil, can create misunderstandings. But for most collectors or those using them therapeutically, it's about appreciating the art or the comfort. It's not about delusion.
Right. So if someone listening is intrigued, maybe wants to buy one, how do they avoid getting ripped off? Because the price range seems huge.
It is vast. You'll see dolls for under $30 on places like Shein or Mercado Libre. Those are almost always mass-produced fakes using stolen photos.
Stolen photos? Like of real babies?
Sometimes. Or photos of legitimate artist dolls. That's a huge red flag.
Right.
If the price seems way too good to be true, like under $100 or $200 for what looks like a super detailed or silicone doll run, use reverse image search on the pictures.
Good tip. What else?
Look for a COA, a certificate of authenticity. A real one comes from the original sculptor of the kit or the reborning artist. Fakes often have shiny, cheap-feeling vinyl, maybe a chemical smell, really bad paint jobs like flat, weird blush, and the hair might be sparse or clearly a wig. That $29.99 full silicone Reborn ad, it's just not real.
So how do you buy safely then?
Best bet. Go directly to known artists. Look for artists with clear portfolios, websites, good reviews, or use trusted, specialized Reborn marketplaces like reborns.com. Ask for safety photos. A doll pictured with a piece of paper showing the seller's username and the date.
Ah, proof they actually have the doll.
Right. And always use secure payment methods like PayPal Goods and Services, which offer some buyer protection.
And one more thing, these aren't really toys for kids, are they?
Generally, no.
Mm.
Especially the artist-made ones. They're considered adult collectibles. They haven't been tested against child safety standards, like for choking hazards or toxic materials. This is crucial, especially with cheap fakes, which might contain harmful stuff. We've even seen things like proposals in Brazil to stop people trying to use the dolls to get priority boarding or services meant for actual babies. It shows the societal reaction.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping up, the world of reborns is, well, it's complex. Incredible artistry, deep emotional connections, a vibrant community.
But also navigating those public misconceptions and, unfortunately, the scams out there.
They really make you think about what a doll is, what art can be, and that line between inanimate objects and something that feels almost alive.
Absolutely.
Which kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What does our fascination or sometimes our discomfort with these incredibly lifelike baby figures actually say about us? About our own deep-seated connections to infants, how we process grief, or maybe even the nature of empathy itself?